Have you ever seen an Etsy listing do $170,000 each month on average? Join me as I analyze this single listing and learn what it is, what we can learn from it, and most importantly, how the heck it is possible. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Dave. If you're new here, hit subscribe. I do new videos all the time. In this video, I want to analyze this listing using Everbee. I enjoy the product analytics side of things on Everbee because, as you've seen in previous videos I've done on eRank, where we look at top sellers, etc. eRank doesn't have this tool where it's product analytics, where it just shows you top listings, which is very, very useful and very interesting. You can learn something from almost every one of these listings on here. And I am an Everbee affiliate. However, I have used it long before I was ever an affiliate. So if you do want to support the channel and grab Everbee, the description has the link for you. But without further ado, this listing right here is a personalized cutting board. The first thing that I want to mention here is that I do like the SEO. The title is structured the way that I teach my students to do so, which is adjective, adjective, noun, or at least 2 to 3 adjectives before a noun. Why? Because the algorithm matches up adjectives with nouns. If it'll take an adjective from the front and match it with a noun from the back or wherever. It does mix and match. You'll see that in your statistics. So there's no point in doing adjective, noun, comma, adjective, noun, comma, adjective, noun, comma. Number one, because you're going to be repeating nouns a lot. And number one, you're going to be repeating nouns a lot. Number two, it's just a waste of space. You can use more adjectives in the way that they're doing here. So I like that, number one. And number two, I like that they're going after big niches, of course. They're going after wedding gifts, charcuterie boards, engagement, bridal. So they are going after the wedding niche. That's a big niche. But the barrier of entry to this product is higher than your average bridesmaid's t-shirt, right? It's not print on demand. It's something you have to have a physical product for and a tool. You have to have a CNC machine, a laser engraver, something that can actually manipulate and change the product and material itself. So that makes a higher barrier of entry. However, that brings me to my next point. Aside from good SEO, which is the first thing I want you to learn from this, the second thing is that most custom cutting boards have higher prices than this. Now, this says sale ends in 3 hours and 56 minutes, but I'd be willing to believe that this is on sale quite often and for a competitive price. If that is the case, that is one of the main competitive edges to this. But in order to have a very, very competitive price, now I'm not telling you to slash your prices. I'm just pointing out what is making this product do such numbers. So because it's so low, it is selling a high volume. And in order to sell so low, they would likely have to have buying these bamboo blanks in bulk, massive bulk orders probably from China, and then they engrave on it themselves. And whoever's engraving on it is a full-time employee, multiple full-time employees maybe, where they're pumping them out. That's my only guess. Or this listing does say it ships from New Jersey, so I'll believe them on that. However, if it doesn't ship from New Jersey, then they're designing it and somebody from China or somewhere else is doing the work and shipping it for them. You'd have to order from this store in order to find out. And by the way, if you do like this product, go ahead and buy it. I'm here to support Etsy sellers as well, not just, gawk and look at people's stuff. If you like this seller's product, go ahead and support them. But that is the next thing. A very competitive price means that they have a very big bulk setup where they're able to slash prices, and because of that, they're able to do that volume. So the profit is coming from the volume, not a giant profit margin with a smaller amount of sales. For example, furniture or something, you can get 4 sales in a day on a $6,000, piece of furniture or whatever, and make a lot of money. So that's the second thing, is that it's a very competitive price. Now, along with that, it's $18.99, yes. However, there are upsales in here. So the lowest price shows first, and there's upsales within the variants. So if you aren't doing that, I highly recommend that if you are able to do that. Whatever that means for your niche, for your product, whatever it is, you are able to offer upsales in the variants, and that oftentimes does increase your average order volume, order value. So I would recommend doing that. That's a, like kind of a third thing that we can learn from this. Now, another interesting thing, Everbee is estimating the conversion rate at 4%. Now, Everbee is give or take on some of these numbers. However, it is very accurate and it is very close. 4% is a great conversion rate, especially for something something like this. And I would contribute that conversion rate to the lower price because cutting boards on Etsy, they range on average anywhere from $40 to $80, even going higher up than that. Now you can spend $120, $150 on some cutting boards I've seen in the past, and that typically means it's coming from a handmade woodworker. They're combining walnut, oak, cherry, different types of wood, and laminating them all together and making a really, really unique product. Now, this product, it's made to sell. It's made to go quickly. It's bamboo, and then there's one spot where they engrave on, and it's made to pump out. There are higher price ones. So again, I'm not telling you to slash your prices. I'm just telling you to note what's making this product work. So another thing is that the total sales on this is 90,000. So there's 90,000 on this store specifically. Everbee estimates, not Everbee estimating, on this store specifically, you can see that there's around 120,000 sales total. So this product is doing the majority of its sales, and that is going to happen a lot of the times in very successful stores. It might be happening in your store. It's where 10 to 20% of your listings do the vast majority of the work. Now, something really interesting to note here is that there's only 10 listings in this store. This is, contrary to a lot of things you hear, as well as things that I say, that you need more listings to get found. And that often is the case. But there are situations where you can do really well with 10 listings. For example, I shared in a previous video of a case study of one of my students. He had 7 listings and he was doing over 6 figures each year. So it's absolutely possible. You just have to have the right products to do so. And that's finding that balance and finding the actual product and being able to make it or design it. It's a whole nother story. But for this example, 10 listings are doing massive, massive numbers, over 6 figures for this, or over 7 figures for this store, obviously annually, if one listing is doing $176,000. So it's not always quantity. Sometimes it's only quality. There are plenty of stores out there where you can find quantity only, but this one is quality only. So it's a really interesting situation for this listing. One thing I want to bring up with Everbee is that now they allow you to build your own storefront, and this is extremely useful for sellers that are in between a standalone website like Shopify or something like that, but they have a good following on Instagram or elsewhere on social media. And if you want to monetize that traffic, I highly recommend checking out Everbee's new store builder. You can have AI build it. You can import your Etsy listings or you can import your Shopify data if you want to move from Shopify. So check that out. Everbee is having this new feature and it's really interesting. So the link is in the description to check that out as well. Also, if you're interested in booking a 10-minute free call with me, the link is in the description as well. We can talk about mentorship. So all in all, this store is really, really interesting. 120,000 sales from New Jersey, doing the majority of its sales with this one cutting board. And again, if you don't have Everbee or an analytics tool like this, I highly recommend getting one. Otherwise, you are flying blind essentially, and I really want you to succeed. So that's why I am suggesting that. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and I hope you have a beautiful day.